So absolutely, yes. In some instances, you have to sacrifice the quote unquote happiness. But again, that would be flipping it on them. Why are they unhappy with the fact that gay people are getting married? They don't have a right. I'm sorry. Their religion does not have a right to dictate how the government is run. There needs to be a separation.
There's no government right anywhere in the United States Constitution for them to issue a marriage license.
Andrew Wilson crushes a frail liberal white boy, where Andrew Wilson is schooling a young white liberal about Christianity and marriage. Now, remember, this young man, I don't know who he is. I mean, I'm pretty sure he means well, but at the same time, I mean, he doesn't really, it seems to me he doesn't really know much about, actual Christianity from the first century. And Andrew Wilson is here to go ahead and school him right quick, just to possibly, I don't know, humble him a bit. But basically, as I said, Andrew Wilson is schooling this young liberal about Christianity and marriage. Now, this guy's name, I don't really know him like that. His name is Hunter Avalon or something like that. And he thinks that white evangelicals are trying to destroy America, where basically he also later on goes into a bit of a panic mode later on in the video. So here is Andrew Wilson demolishing this young man about Christianity and marriage. If you enjoy what's being shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button and share the video far wide across social media. Let's go ahead and get into this Andrew Wilson debate.
That's another thing. Another reason. There are statistics showing that oftentimes hyper-religious individuals are more likely to put their faith over scientific evidence. Anti-intellectualism has already cost us with COVID, with how we've seen the conspiratorial bullshit, the anti-vaxxers and whatnot. So yes, there is a multitude of harm that white evangelicals perpetuate on this country, or could, hypothetically. So I think that your argument would be completely doomed. It would have to.
So now answer me this, now that we've established this.
Mm-hmm.
Is the happiness level in people who are Christians higher or lower than the average population in the United States?
So I'm going to answer this.
No, just yes or no. Is it higher or lower?
I'm not going to answer it unless I can elaborate, because the
Okay.
answer it needs an elaboration there. Mm-hmm. So yes, absolutely. Yep, you're right. People in religious circles do have happier or higher rates of happiness.
Doesn't it do them harm if you were to take that away from them?
Sure. Yes. So here's the thing.
So now we're talking about which.
Wait. Hold on. Wait. Because it's not the religious aspect of it, but rather the community aspect of it. So if you were to gauge a group of people that say every Saturday they went to some big community event with community picnic and then went bowling or whatnot, you would find higher rates of happiness in those people as well. Having a structured community is what gives you that higher level of happiness. And again, I'm not shitting on all of religion. My parents are very religious. I respect them for that, and that's because I recognize that for them it is a form of community, and that's important for people.
What I'm trying to get to the heart of here is that it seems like your issues are secondary to the religion. You're saying this is how religious people behave in this political sense that I disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking, what are your fundamental problems with the religion itself?
Oh, you want to talk about Christianity?
If you have a problem with Christianity, yeah.
I mean, I'm not really to be fair, I don't think I'm too interested. I don't think I can get too into a deep theological talk.
Well, I'm not really.
Why not? I mean, you wanted to talk to him about, Christianity and marriage and stuff. You want to talk to him about how come Christians don't agree with this or that and the third that people or the world are talking about or for. I mean, let's be honest here. When it comes to actual Christians, I mean, biblical Christians and everything, they're just basically, we're passing through. Okay, this world's not our home. We're simply passing through. Okay, we're making heaven our home. All right, and we don't care about the things that are of this world and stuff because of the fact that matter. Doesn't mean that we don't care about the world. It's simply put that we're not into the whole materialism and stuff, as well as what, God has created and stuff. Right? I mean, we use it like food, shelter, clothing, like the plants we eat for vegetation for, eating, as well as, other things like building houses and everything, and even clothing. But at the same time, I mean, we're going to be blessed in other ways and everything. And we know that this earth is not going to live forever, because of the fact that the matter is, our hope is in heaven. Okay. Heaven is our home. All right. And also to the point where, Andrew Wilson actually talked about where, about, Christians being happier than other people with Hunter here. Having the highest level of happiness. I'm sorry. It Christians being around other Christians is what makes them happy. Okay. Simple point blank. If we're simply around our brothers and sisters in Christ and everything, we're happy, we're edified, we're encouraged. Okay. And that's where our, level of happiness is higher, because of the fact that, not only because we're around each other, but also because of the fact that, we're already content with the things that we have right now. Okay. And we desire to actually be pleasing to the Lord. Okay. It's simple as that.
Trying to get into a deep theological talk. What I'm trying to discuss here is
no,
motivation.
I'll dial it back here. Get personal for a second. I have admitted this multiple times on stream. I have a little bit of like resentment with how religion was taught to me personally. So I try to steer clear of like the deep theological debates about Christianity. My general summary, if you don't mind, really quick, and I'll hand it over to you, is just that, yes, people who have a sense of community, whether that be a secular sense of community or a religious circle and sense of community, is absolutely beneficial and has been proven to be such. I'm not advocating to take any of that away. I'm fine with people going to church. I'm fine with people being religious. I was raised as a Christian. I think there are some good, parts of the Bible. There are some good things you can take away from religion. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-religion here. My argument ultimately was that white evangelical, the fundamentalist Christians, those are more of the people that I'm concerned about on a statistical level. And it doesn't mean they can't be reached, but it just means that they would be more likely to perpetuate harm. And again, there's nothing harmful with being gay.
But what about the harm perpetuated against them for telling them that their beliefs are incorrect, even though their happiness level is higher?
Well, what do you mean? Their beliefs...
So what I'm asking is, why is it that we should sacrifice the happiness of 200 million people in order to accommodate this small handful of people?
Well, I'm not trying to get rid of anything, though. This is the thing. No one.
Well, you don't think that homosexual marriage, for instance, is a complete slap in the face towards Christians?
Well,
their fundamental belief structure says
then this is where we would have to
between one man and one woman.
So this is where we'd have to
say your happiness level for your religion needs to be completely eradicated.
No.
Accommodate these people here.
Hold on, this is pushing me into trying to push me into a bad optical corner here, but no, not at all.
I'm not trying to.
I know, but it's not. Hold on.
He just lost his train of thought. That's pretty interesting. Okay, response to his earlier point when it talks about he stated right there that caught my attention where he likes some parts of the Bible. I wonder why, because of the fact that the Bible in general actually contradicts his belief, the beliefs of those who are of the world. Because last I checked, if you like some parts of the Bible, you have to basically be willing to live by, at the entire New Testament, as well as using the Old Testament as your teacher in order to get you to not commit the same sins as they did under the Old Testament. For it's written, all scripture is inspired by God and is profitable for teaching, for reproof, and for correction, and for training in righteousness, that a man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work. That right there, my friends, is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verses 16 and 17, meaning that every scripture is important, whether it is if you're a Christian, you have to live by the New Testament. If you're Christian, you can't live by the Old Testament, but you have to basically learn from it. Why? Because Galatians chapter 3, verses 23 to 29 shows that it's our teacher for us to learn from, so that way we won't have to make the same mistakes. And also, when it comes to basically, discussing, Christianity itself, be sure to ask questions and stuff that are actually reasonable and stuff. All right. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not trying to go ahead and, basically trying to make anybody watching this video or even listening become a Christian, but I'm just giving you something to think about. All right. And that's it. Okay, but the fact of the matter is that this became a conversation on religion once this guy decided to go ahead and start stating that he wishes that Christians will actually be able to agree with the thing like environmentalism and stuff, and also back to the point where he made later about like people who are homosexuals being happy and everything. I mean, and he stated that why they're not harming Christians and stuff. I mean, it's not a matter of them harming Christians. Christians aren't harmed by them. As a matter of fact, if anyone were to bring any harm to Christians and stuff, the Christians wouldn't have any kind of repayment or try to get back at them. No, they leave that to the Lord to go ahead and basically handle that. Okay. And it's not about, them not being happy with homosexual stuff. It's actually about, what the Lord has established. All right. That's it. Okay. And established that marriage is between man and woman and everything. And then same sex marriage came about and stuff around or after 2012. And the fact of the matter is, this is something that, a lot of biblical Christians, disagree with and don't really condone. But at the same time, I mean, you can't force them into believing that because, well, let's be honest. Spiritually speaking, this is what emboldens them as Christians. And but if you want to talk practical, I mean, this is also the reason why Trump got reelected in the first place.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. I got super distracted at the chat at the last second there. Could you repeat what you said again? I apologize.
Yeah.
I
So what I'm saying is that,
hold on. I'd just like to also point out I'm having a bit of a slow night tonight, so
it's okay.
Defense.
So I'm just pointing out from the Christian side, they think to themselves, look.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is a religious institution to them. It's not a political institution.
Right. So
they don't think of it that way.
So this is
they think of it as a religious institution, and they think that the institution, if you allow homosexuals to become marriage, is destroying the institution of their very faith and grounding that they walk on.
But it's not the government's job to uphold any one religion. This has already been established by the Constitution, and it's a known fact that we have separation of church and state in many ways.
Well, then why is it that the government issues marriage licenses at all? Why don't they just stay out of it?
I would agree with you. That's what, honestly, I would fucking love that. Yes,
if that's the case, then why would you be angry about something that's not called marriage but gives you all the rights to marriage?
Well, I didn't know if did I ever say I was angry about that? I didn't.
Well, right. So one of
I'm pretty sure he has been angry before.
I think I talked about the tax incentives. I'm not sure what that.
Well, so one of the things that homosexual advocates did, there was something that was there in place for these people, for homosexuals, that was designed specifically.
Oh yeah, the civil union. Yeah,
but civil unions weren't good enough. It had to be marriage.
I don't know all the ins and outs, but I don't think I need to get into that. No one's trying to take away anyone's happiness level, and we could just as easily flip this on its head and say that white evangelicals restricting people from getting married and living their lives freely, pursuing their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that would restrict their happiness. What about gay people not being able to get married? What about two people that love each other and can't get married?
This is the fundamental question that we're coming to. This is why I'm bringing this up is, do we sacrifice the happiness of the 200 million people who believe in this institution as a religious institution for the people who believe that it's a secular institution?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because we just as easily, again, I'm going to defer you back to slavery. We sacrificed the happiness of a whole lot of Southerners when all of a sudden we made slavery illegal. But it doesn't mean that it wasn't the right thing to do, my dude. So absolutely, yes. In some instances, you have to sacrifice the quote-unquote happiness. But again, that would be flipping it on them. Why are they unhappy with the fact that gay people are getting married? They don't have a right. I'm sorry. Their religion does not have a right to dictate how the government is run. There needs to be a separation.
There's no government right anywhere in the United States Constitution for them to issue a marriage license. At the federal level.
But it's a state thing, right?
Well, it should be a 10th Amendment thing, but the Supreme Court interpreted the Constitution and applied it towards a non-discrimination clause, which was designed for black people, had nothing to do with homosexuals at all.
Perfect.
So yes, it should have defaulted to a 10th Amendment, and anytime it did default to a 10th Amendment, it was voted down.
Yeah, no, because it's
So if you have any thoughts about this, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts on this. Andrew Wilson has basically blown it out the park once again. I mean, Andrew Wilson, I mean, he knows his stuff, most of his stuff for the most part, but he definitely knows how to argue. All right. And he actually, you know, Andrew Wilson was definitely getting this young man to, you know, think about a few things, but this guy doesn't want to actually concede to any points and stuff of logic and fact and stuff, but he's appealing based on, you know, emotional arguments and stuff. And like slavery, for example, I mean, one of the roughest times of America, but at the same time, I mean, that doesn't really have anything to do with Christianity. I mean, he tried to relate it with like happiness and stuff. At the same time, there were, you know, like, it's like, that's a different point of time and stuff, history and stuff. I mean, I can see why, you know, this guy shared with Andrew Wilson, you know, using it as an example of happiness or the lack of happiness. But at the same time, that doesn't really help to prove your point on why same-sex marriage is actually right, as well as why Christianity shouldn't have anything to, you know, basically improve on like what the homosexuals are doing and stuff. But I mean, that's what I think. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional thoughts you might have on this particular topic. If you enjoyed what was shared in this topic, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notifications, so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.